One of the things that I've noticed over the years is that many people seem to believe that infinite banking is what creates wealth. And I understand why, frankly, because if you spend enough time online, you'll eventually encounter business owners, real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and families who have accumulated significant wealth while utilizing the strategy. And eventually what happens for a lot of people is that there's this subtle shift that starts to happen in their mind, right? People stop viewing infinite banking as a tool and begin viewing it as the source of wealth itself, okay? Now, the more conversations I have, however, the more that I think that's a little bit backwards, okay? In my experience, infinite banking is not what creates wealth. It helps people become more intentional. I think that matters a whole lot. Help people become more intentional with the wealth that they're already creating. So more intentional about the wealth they're already creating. And I'll explain that a little bit more. I'll expound upon that a little bit more throughout the rest of this article. Now, before going any further though, it's probably helpful to define what I personally mean by infinite banking, right? And so at its core, infinite banking is the strategy that utilizes specially designed whole life insurance to help people control and direct the flows, right? Control is key and direction of flow is key of the money throughout their lives, okay? Now, the policy is the tool. Again, overfunded, high cash value, whole life insurance policy designed for high cash value, okay? So the policy is the tool. The strategy is the process. While there are many ways to implement it, the basic idea is that instead of always relying on outside lenders, a person builds a pool of capital inside of a policy, and then they can access that capital through policy loans while continuing to fund the system the entire time. So the cool thing about it all is that you have money growing in the background the entire time. Like, I think that matters more than anything, is like you're having money grow in the background the whole time while you're also utilizing that capital along the way. Okay. And so the reason I find the concept interesting has little to do with the phrase, quote unquote, becoming your own bank. And I understand where that comes from and everything like that. And I'm a proponent of it. But the reason I find the concept interesting has very little to do with that phrase, okay? What interests me is how it changes the way people think about money. And by people, I mean many people who are doing the research, myself included, when it comes to the way that we look at it, right? Now, unfortunately, I think that's also where many people get a little bit confused. The people I see benefiting the most from infinite banking were usually doing well long before they ever purchased a policy. They were already creating value. They were already generating income. They were saving money. They were investing already. They were already building businesses and acquiring assets or creating opportunities for themselves and their families. And in other words, the wealth creation was already happening, okay? The policy is not what created that. And that's really the point that I'm trying to drive home in this particular video here, is that infinite banking in and of itself does not create the wealth. It might be a little bit more efficient way to do it in certain circumstances, but it's not the thing itself that creates the wealth, okay? What you're able to do and provide value for others and create revenue and income from, that is what creates the value, and that's what creates the wealth that people see